Welcome to the deep dive, where we try to unpack complex topics and really pull out the most valuable insights, so you don't have to sift through just endless amounts of information. The world of AI, artificial intelligence, it's moving incredibly fast. And while that promise of truly personalized help sounds amazing, it often feels, well, a bit out of reach, doesn't it? Maybe buried under technical jargon or, expensive subscriptions. It can be genuinely frustrating trying to figure out how to make these powerful tools work specifically for your actual needs. So today we're doing a deep dive into Google Gemini and a really fascinating feature called Gems. These are basically personalized AI assistants you can create yourself
Mm,
for free, and they're designed to simplify a pretty big chunk of your digital life.
exactly. And our mission here for this deep dive is really to just demystify that whole process. We're going to walk you through exactly how you can create these gems. We'll highlight their, core functions, show you how they integrate pretty seamlessly, actually, within the Google ecosystem. We'll give you some practical, real-world examples of how you might use them. And just as importantly, we'll take an honest look at the challenges and, well, the current limitations, especially with the free version. Our goal for you is pretty straightforward. We want you to walk away understanding how to set up a personalized assistant in less than 5 minutes, and to really see how these gems could genuinely help optimize your daily tasks, whether that's personal stuff or professional work.
Exactly. Think of this as your shortcut, your express lane to getting informed on this topic.
Uh-huh.
It's custom tailored for anyone curious about gaining knowledge quickly and, actually applying it right away. So let's kick things off with the basic question. What exactly are Google Gems? At their core, they're these personalized AI assistants. They live right inside the Gemini platform. Their whole purpose is, well, it's kind of elegant, really. They're designed to do very specific tasks based on the clear instructions you give them.
Uh-huh. And that's the key difference.
Right. This is where they really stand apart from just using a generic assistant. Gems let you do some deep customization, adapting precisely to your needs. We're talking things like maybe summarizing documents, planning a trip.
Generating creative ideas.
Yeah, or even helping out with programming tasks if that's your thing. And what's really compelling, they're free, available to anyone with a Google account. And honestly, for most everyday stuff, the free version gives you more than enough functionality. It's quite a shift in what you can get without paying.
That accessibility really is key. And to get started creating your own personalized assistant with Gemini for free, you just need a few basic things lined up. First off, you need a personal Google account. That's essential. Just a quick note here, though, accounts managed by Family Link, they aren't compatible for users under 13 or, whatever the minimum age is where you are.
Okay, good to know.
Second, thinking about devices. If you want to use the mobile app, you'll need the Gemini app on an Android phone. Needs at least 2 gigs of RAM and Android 10 or higher.
Or the web version.
Or, yeah, you can just use the web version. That works on pretty much any modern browser. Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Opera, Edge, you name it. Third, obviously, you need a stable internet connection. That's crucial for interacting with Gemini and making your gems.
Right.
And finally, Gemini's reach is actually pretty broad now. It's available in lots of languages, including Spanish, and in over 150 countries. Though it's true, some specific functions might be limited depending on your region or the language you're using.
Okay, so all this talk about deep customization, free access, it sounds great, but for someone new to this, how hard is the actual creation process? I know for me, sometimes setting up new tech can feel like you're wading through code, and that's just not what I want.
Yeah, that's a really fair question.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is where it gets good. The process for creating your own gem. It's surprisingly straightforward. It genuinely requires absolutely zero programming knowledge. You can literally get one up and running in minutes.
Okay, that's reassuring. So let's walk through the principles, the steps to get this set up. First, you've got to access Gemini itself, right?
Exactly.
So if you're on Android, download the Gemini app from the Google Play Store. And you need to make sure the Google app is set as your default digital assistant in your phone settings. That's important.
Uh-huh.
Or if you prefer using a computer, just go to gemini.google.com, sign in with your Google account.
Yeah.
Simple enough. Step 2. Once you're in either the app or the web, you navigate to the Gem Manager. You're looking for something labeled Explore Gems, or maybe Administrador de Gems if you're using it in Spanish.
Got it.
Okay, step 3. This brings us to the core bit. Creating a new gem. You'll see a button like Create a Gem or Create New Gem. Click that. And this is where you really define your assistant. You give your gem a name, something descriptive like email assistant or travel planner.
Makes sense.
And here's the crucial part, the real sort of magic, I guess. You write clear, specific instructions for exactly what you want that gem to do. So for instance, you might tell it, summarize my emails and pull out any pending tasks with dates and who's responsible.
Okay.
Or maybe if you need creative help, generate ideas for social media posts about budget travel in Europe. It's all about being precise with your instructions.
And that precision really does matter. You
Yeah.
know, think of it like the clearer you are, the better the gem actually understands what you want. It's not just what to do, but how you want it done.
Absolutely. Makes total sense. So, okay, you've written your instructions. Step 4 is test and adjust. Right.
Exactly. Don't just save it and hope for the best.
Right. You need to run some real-world tests.
Yeah.
Give it some actual questions or tasks and see how it performs. If the answers aren't quite right or maybe not precise enough, that's your cue to go back and tweak those instructions. Make them clearer, maybe more specific. You can even add details like the tone you want, formal, informal, or the output format. You know, like a list or a paragraph, maybe even a table.
It's like training, isn't it? An iterative process.
Exactly. Like training any assistant, human or AI. And then finally, step 5. Once you're happy with how it's behaving, you save and integrate the gem. Keep it for future use. And this is where its real power starts to show that integration with other Google apps, like Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive.
Yeah, that integration is pretty neat.
It allows for some really impressive automation. Imagine a gem reviewing a whole document in Google Docs for you, or creating a calendar event just from a picture you uploaded. Yeah, the possibilities for streamlining your workflow are genuinely, well, vast. Okay, so now that we've covered the how of setting up a gem, let's look at how these personalized assistants actually work in different situations. This is where it gets really interesting, seeing their versatility and, the potential impact on your day-to-day.
Do it.
Okay, think about a productivity assistant. You could set up a gem to organize your calendar, maybe create task lists straight from your emails.
Oh, this is useful.
Yeah, or even summarize those super long reports you need to get through. Imagine just telling it, analyze my Gmail inbox and create a list of pending tasks with deadlines, maybe sort them by urgency.
That would be a lifesaver for a lot of people, I think.
Totally. Or what about content creators? A content generator gem.
Yeah, that could be huge.
You could create a gem to draft social media posts or even like professional emails. An instruction might be, write a formal email inviting a client to a meeting. Include a brief agenda and suggest 2 time slots for next Tuesday afternoon.
Right. It just takes that repetitive mental load off your plate.
Exactly. And for students or, anyone who's learning something new. A learning assistant.
Ooh, tell me more.
You could design a gem to explain really complex ideas in simple terms. Or generate personalized study plans, like create a weekly study plan for improving my math skills, focus on algebra, and give me links to free online resources and practice exercises.
That's pretty powerful for self-directed learning.
It really is. And one more for the tech folks, or even people just starting with code, a programming assistant.
Yes.
Configure a gem to help write or review code. You could give it an instruction like, review this Python snippet for efficiency, suggest improvements to optimize it, and flag any potential errors.
So it's not just saving time. It could actually help improve the quality of the code itself.
Potentially, yeah. It's like having a little coding buddy. Those examples are definitely compelling. Especially that Google Workspace integration. It just sounds incredibly convenient. But I wonder, is there a catch? Does that deep integration maybe create a bit of a lock-in? Making it harder for users to try other AI tools if they get really reliant on Google's world.
That's a fair point to raise. And yeah, the deep integration is a massive plus if you're already deep in Google Workspace. But does it lock you in? I wouldn't say it prevents you from using other AI tools entirely. You can still use other models separately.
Okay.
What it does offer is just unmatched convenience within that specific ecosystem. I think the real insight here is Google is basically democratizing this kind of highly personalized AI, stuff that was maybe only for power users or required a paid subscription before.
Right.
They're making it accessible to literally anyone with a Google account. So it's less about lock-in, I think, and more about Google setting a new baseline, a new standard for what a free AI assistant can actually do. It could really shift user expectations across the board.
That's a great perspective, shifting expectations.
Yeah.
So beyond that convenience and setting new standards, what are some of the other big advantages of creating these gems for free?
Well, like we said, accessibility is huge. No tech background needed, no subscription cost. That just lowers the barrier right down.
Yeah.
They're also incredibly fast to set up. Seriously, You can often get a basic gem configured in under 5 minutes.
Wow.
And then there's the flexibility. You're not limited to one. You can create multiple gems for all sorts of different tasks. Personal, professional, build your own little team of specialized assistants.
A whole suite tailored to you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's worth stressing again, the free version of Gemini runs on the Gemini Pro model. That's pretty powerful, comparable to something like GPT 3.5. You're getting a lot of capability for zero cost.
Okay, so lots of upsides. But you mentioned nuances and limitations earlier. What's fascinating here is understanding those trade-offs.
Right. Even with all the good stuff, there are definitely challenges with the free version. For one, you might find some functions aren't available. Certain advanced features, maybe like generating images or video directly within the gem, that might be restricted. Or they might need a subscription to, say, Gemini Advanced or Google AI Pro to unlock.
You mentioned those regional limitations too, like for users in Spain. Is there a common reason for that? Like, is it regulatory hurdles or just features rolling out slowly?
It's often a mix, really. Feature rollouts definitely happen at different paces in different regions and languages.
Yeah.
It's a huge global deployment.
Sure.
And sometimes, yeah, local regulations might play a part too. So feature parity isn't always immediate everywhere. You just have to check what's available where you are.
Gotcha. What else?
Another thing is the accuracy of responses. Because gems rely on your instructions, if those instructions aren't crystal clear, the gem can misinterpret them. We've seen user reports, for instance, where Gemini generated an image when it wasn't asked to, or just gave answers that weren't quite precise.
Okay. So clarity is key.
Absolutely. Then there's also somewhat limited support for certain tasks you might normally associate with a digital assistant. Things like setting up complex routines, controlling your smart home devices, or those really quick voice actions. Gemini isn't fully geared for those yet.
So you might still need the regular Google Assistant for some of that.
Exactly. For some of those quicker, simpler commands or smart home stuff, you might find yourself defaulting back to the traditional Google Assistant for now. And one last point is performance. Sometimes Gemini can feel a bit slower than Google Assistant for really simple, basic tasks.
Why is that?
Well, it's because Gemini is built around this powerful generative AI. It's designed for more complex understanding and creation. So for a super simple question, it might be a bit like using a supercomputer for basic math. It's powerful, maybe even overkill, which can mean a slightly slower response time compared to an assistant optimized purely for speed on simple queries.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a trade-off for the generative power.
Precisely.
So, given these nuances, the potential, but also the pitfalls, how do you really get the most out of your gems? How do you make them truly efficient? Our sources had some solid advice here.
Yeah, some good tips.
First, and this seems absolutely crucial, define clear instructions. Really clear. Think about Google's own model for writing good prompts. Specify the GEMS function, its role, the task, what it needs to do, the context, any important details, and the format, how you want the answer structured.
The clearer the prompt, the better the result. It really follows that principle.
Second, test iteratively. Don't just set it and forget it.
Right.
Actively test it out with different instructions. Tweak things. Refine its behavior until it consistently gives you what you need. It's an ongoing optimization process.
Treat it like a work in progress.
Exactly. Third, and this is where you see those big productivity gains, leverage the integration. Don't just use GEMS in isolation. Actively use them with Google Workspace. Automate those workflows, summarizing emails, creating calendar events from chats or docs.
Make the ecosystem work for you.
That's the idea. Make your whole digital setup smarter. And finally, a really important one, verify the responses.
Yes. Crucial.
Remember, Gemini, like any AI, can make mistakes. It can sometimes hallucinate or get things wrong. So always double check. Use the built-in checking function in Gemini, or just do a quick Google search to cross-reference the information. It's about using it smartly, not just blindly trusting it.
Absolutely. Smart usage is key. So if we boil it all down, the core takeaway from this deep dive is this. Creating these personalized assistants with Google Gemini for free is actually a remarkably powerful and accessible way to automate tasks. You don't need technical skills, their flexibility, their ease of use, and especially that seamless integration with Google Workspace. Those are the real key strength. They make it a genuinely valuable tool for pretty much anyone looking to boost their productivity and just streamline their digital life.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you think about maybe trying this out?
Well, here's something to maybe mull over. As these free AI tools like GEMS keep getting better and more sophisticated, how might that balance shift? The balance between us, the users, needing to craft these super meticulous instructions versus the AI becoming increasingly able to just intuitively understand and carry out complex tasks with less guidance. It's a really fascinating question about where that line between user direction and AI intuition will eventually settle in this space. Something to think about.